All right, now we welcome into the Miner Lounge my brother, Christopher Miner. Christopher, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
That's good. Everybody, Chris is a graduate student at Baylor University. He's a huge Baylor basketball fan, and he was served as the team manager back in his freshman year. But Chris, glad to have you on. How's your week looking?
Short week. I go home on Tuesday with Thomas. He's our other brother. Ready to be back home. I haven't been home in Virginia since June. It's been a
Yeah,
while. So I'm excited to be home for Thanksgiving and see everyone.
that's great. Wish I could be there with you. I'm currently in Houston, staying here for Thanksgiving week, but can't wait to see you guys soon. With that said, Chris, let's dive into Baylor basketball. Baylor basketball ranked by ESPN number one for both programs combined, men and women's. The men here, number two in the nation in the AP, number one in the coaches, and they got a lot of firepower returning, and a lot of people in Waco expecting a big year. First of all, Scott Drew just tested positive for COVID. He announced in a tweet tonight. Our prayers, of course, go out to him. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think he'll be fine. Healthy dude. He's relatively young. I'm just excited to be talking about Baylor basketball because Baylor football is really, really bad. And so I'm excited to swing it into basketball season where, top 5 team in the country, projected to really compete at the top for Big 12 championship. And I'm just excited. A lot of guys coming back that I really loved watching from a year ago.
Who did you love most from a year ago?
Butler. It's my guy. Oh, yeah. Well, I love watching Davion Mitchell on ball. I think he's really good. And then I like watching Mark Vital because he's just the hustle guy. Mm-hmm. And he does a lot of things that won't show up on the stat sheet. But Davion Mitchell, really good defense. But Butler is he's a baller, dude. Teague, I like watching Teague. But Butler is probably the guy I'm looking forward to watching. I really like him.
Sure. Butler, of course, dropped 22 points in the Bears' first win ever in Lawrence last year. So obviously he's kind of the straw that stirs the drink. And I think everybody was really happy when he announced that he'd be coming back and kind of withdrew his name from the NBA draft. I think he has a really high ceiling. And, Baylor starts this Wednesday, Thanksgiving week, feast week, against Arizona State. Sun Devils are number 18, and again, our thoughts and prayers go out to Coach Drew, his assistant, Coach Tang, will be on the sidelines leading the Bears. That's what's expected. Everybody else in the program has tested negative, so we're ready to rock and roll. So,
yeah,
thoughts, from just real quick, briefly, that you're looking forward to see right away out of the gate.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think we'll be fine. Andrew mentioned that I was a basketball manager freshman year. I really like Coach Tang. He in practice, he's really vocal and really likes to – he's really good with players. So I think they'll be fine without Coach Drew to start the season. In terms of what I am looking for, I'm really high on Baylor. But something you have to think about is obviously they're really good on-ball defenders, and I'm so happy that we're moving away from the zone because the zone is so freaking bad. I hate it, and I hate it whenever we try to play whatever zone Drew wants to call it, like the 1-3-1 matchup. I think we're really bad. But once we go into man-to-man and then we get, a big guy in the center, I think we can be really, really good. Gillespie's gone. Tristan Clark retired from basketball. I don't know how much I trust Flo in the center of our defense if he's the guy. And that's something that that's something I want to watch against Arizona State. You can only be so good if you don't have a big guy rim protector.
Right. So you mentioned Gillespie's gone from a year ago. Last year, of course, cut short because of the COVID outbreak. All the postseason tournaments were were canceled, postponed, and then canceled, including March Madness. So no Final Four in Atlanta that Baylor was probably going to be a number one seed in and be favorites to go all the way to that weekend. Baylor 26-4, 15-3 Big 12 record, finished second in the Big 12 behind Kansas. It's the best ever finish by a second place team. So it was just a testament to Kansas and how much better they were in the season to
the big guys
of Baylor there. What was your, some of your favorite games from last season, Chris?
Yeah, because I know you don't want to talk about last year games, kind of what we remember, but the very first one I think of is Villanova. Really liked that game. Forget, were we in the Bahamas? We were in some tournament. I forget where. I think it was Bahamas.
Yeah. I don't think it was Bahamas. On that real quick.
You know what? I actually check that right now.
Keep thinking.
That Villanova game was really, really good in my opinion, and I think we did a lot of things well. Because we played. We were like 4-1 at that point, and our only loss was Washington, which should have been a win, which was a really frustrating game to watch. And Villanova was kind of like our first test, and they have really good guards, and they're really well coached, and we did a fantastic. We played like a really competitive game, which, whenever I watch Baylor games, I always look at like how you're competing, because you can miss shots and, not play well. But as long as you're competing, you're working your butt off, that's all I want to see, really. They really competed with Villanova. I really liked that game. And then, I think at Kansas, when we smoked them, it was a great feeling. I forget, I think their point guard got injured and left the game early, but still went into Lawrence and, beat a number 3 Kansas team by 12, and we were up way more before that point, and that was just a really fun game to watch.
Yeah. I mean, both of those games, I think, highlight the strengths of Baylor, kind of the ceiling of that team, right? Because Villanova was 17th in the nation at that time. Just a quick stat check for you. It was the Myrtle Beach Invitational. It was in South Carolina. We actually played at the Coastal gym, and they won. That was the championship game between the two. Bears were down 3 at halftime. They come out and they score 49 points. 49 points in the second half. And Jared Butler led the team with 22 points. The Baylor shot 11 of 19 from beyond the arc. So it was kind of just like the perfect game of this is how good Baylor can be. And very early on, I think we discovered, Baylor was going to be a force to be reckoned with. And then, as you mentioned, beating number 3 Kansas on the road in Fog Alley, and doing that for the first time ever in program history, obviously historic. Yeah, I don't think you can take away anything from the Bears when they do something like that.
Dog. It was awesome, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, some of the connectivity here is cutting out a little bit. So
I said something and you just were looking at the screen for like 5 seconds.
It's because you're going in and out, and so I see your lips. I see your lips moving, and I don't hear anything on my end. So I apologize for that.
You need to apologize. It's Stream's fault.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the thing about last year, what I really loved, I'll give you just a couple of examples, just how gritty that Baylor was. Just the tenacity of playing fundamentally sound defensive basketball, which I think, that's something that I really, really like, take pride in taking charges and playing hard-nosed defense. But holding Texas to 44 and 45 points respectively in their 2 matchups was ridiculous. Baylor also played Maryland Eastern Shore last year, and they scored 46 points against Baylor. So Texas scored less in 2 games than Maryland Eastern Shore did.
I thought you were about to say, like, oh, yeah, we also held Maryland Eastern Shore to 46 points. It's like, okay, I've never even heard of that school ever in my life.
No, this is a purely a dig on the Texas Longhorns that they couldn't muster more points than
Also, yeah,
Maryland Eastern Shore.
and we should dig on the Longhorns because I'm looking at the schedule and they're ranked 19.
I know. Isn't that kind of
What? When is Texas ever going to be good at basketball?
I don't know.
Get out of here.
They haven't won
What?
they haven't won an NCAA tournament game with Shaka Smart as their head coach, and I love Shaka Smart as well.
Well, Shaka's good, but like they're bad, man. 19 in the country. It's just that they get the benefit of the doubt. Same thing in football. It's like, oh, like, you know, overrated. We're gonna rank them preseason, and then they're gonna go 500 or worse. And it's like, okay, yeah, we told you so.
Right.
Everyone knew that.
Right. So I think that's the goal anyway for Baylor to kind of prove that Texas really isn't that good this year. But those two games were just great. As with Texas Tech, they played Texas Tech really close on the road, 157-52, and then at home they won 64-61 in overtime. I think that's where you saw Maceo Teague have a really nice step back jumper crossover top of the key to kind of ice the game in overtime to win by 3 on senior night. That was just a really clutch performance. And the other one that I'll just mention real quickly was the game against Butler, where Baylor basically goes scoreless for the last 4 minutes of the game, the last 3:39 of the game. Baylor goes scoreless. Butler goes on a 7-0 run, and Baylor somehow pulls out a 53-52 victory. So a lot of defensive battles and grudge matches. 10-point games that Baylor had last year. They had an 11-3 record in games decided by 10 points or fewer. So, their defense was really, really good last year, and I think it's something that with all these players coming back and a lot of new players coming into the fold, it's something that they're going to just try to keep improving on, and I think we can expect them to really have a good defense again.
Oh, yeah. It kind of has similar vibes to UVA, just the brand of basketball we were kind of playing last year. At times, I mean, not always. I mean, you see some of these scores and we're playing up like 90, mid-80 numbers for offense. But it's like, for the most part, we're playing like some UVA basketball, which I really love. I love watching UVA just because, I mean, the opponent takes one shot and that's it. Like, you limit second chance points. Like, you come down, you take a tough shot, and you don't get the ball back. Like, that was Baylor basketball. And I've never seen that before. And I'll go back to it. The 1-3-1 zone sucks. I hate it so much. And I'm just so happy that I hope this is like the starting point of transitioning away from that and playing man-to-man. And just because, I played, for all the Twitter followers, and views that this video will get, I played high school basketball, and it's like, we moved away from zone going into my senior year because the coach is like, yeah, with accountability. It's like you can kind of, and especially, and for zone, you have less accountability. And for like man-to-man, you start switching. It's like, oh, well, we switched off. And it's like no accountability, but you fight through screens. You have one guy, and it just like increases accountability, in my opinion. And I think you play tougher defense.
Yeah. Zones you can get lazy in, and for a while I think the testament of Baylor was that zone defense. It was really a hallmark card, and they switched it up a few years back. And I think the 2018 season is when they really started to switch away from the zone, and they play a lot of no middles defense, right? So they're trying to keep the ball carrier on either side of the court and not let them go middle, not let them make a pass, to the middle of the court, which, of course, if you're playing zone or man, that's where you want to attack anyway. That's where you want to get the ball to have multiple options to shoot and, score or pass out.
What do you think about us shooting? What do you think about us being like 3-point happy?
I don't think we were too 3-point happy last year. I thought we had a good balance.
Really?
That's
I just felt like some games. I mean, obviously, I'm not like, Andrew and I didn't go watch film for all, 30 games of
30
Baylor
games.
basketball last year. I'm just going off memory, right? And I feel like sometimes we just got a little trigger happy. We were just jacking up shots.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I just don't want us to fall into that kind of basketball.
Yeah.
It's never good.
Yeah, I think 2018 when Tristan Clark went down with the knee injury, and we played Syracuse in the first round of the NCAA tournament. I think a lot of our identity was, hey, if we're going to be successful, we're going to have to make a lot of threes. I think last year, it wasn't that we weren't 3-point happy. I think it was more of a mix of we were being methodical and we missed a lot of 2-point shots. I was pretty stunned by the statistics. So there are a couple of mega previews up online. If you haven't read them already, you should check them out. To everybody watching, by Kendall Collett at Our Daily Bears and Tim Watkins at Bears Illustrated, and they go on to a deep dive analysis of all Baylor basketball, the roster, everybody coming back, the schedule. But one of the things that they said Baylor's looking to improve on is that Baylor shot 47.5% of 2-point field goals last year, which seems to me like pretty decent. Except that ranked 256th in the nation, and they were 180.
2-point shots?
What?
2-point shots?
2-point shots.
100 and what?
188th in effective field goal percentage.
Whoa. Okay. I thought you were going to say, like, we ranked 188th in taking 2-point shots.
No.
But it's of making 2-point shots.
Yeah, of making was 256 was our ranking. And
what's the stat?
47.5% of 2-point field goals, made 2-point field goals, 256 ranking.
Okay.
And then in effective field goal percentage, which is like an advanced stat that they take into other factors and whatnot, like defense and block shots and things like that, Baylor was 188th in the nation in effective 2-point field goal percentage. So it's something that they're looking to improve on, to take even better, like taking better shots, better 2-point field goals, like layups, jumpers, all of that good stuff, and making better shots this year. So it's something that Baylor is trying to improve on. Because like I said before, a lot of the games were gritty and close and really tight. Like Baylor wasn't scoring over 60 points. Their opponents weren't either. And a lot of that was because there were a lot of missed shots, and Baylor had a lot of shots blocked. During the season, 13% of Baylor's shots that they took last year were blocked, which is crazy.
Because our guards are so small when they try to go in. I bet that big dude from Kansas blocked. I think he probably blocked like 6% of those shots out of the 13 blocked shots.
That's what I was wondering. Azubuike was,
Azubuike's a stud.
He was a shack.
Stud for anything in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Azubuike was really, really good. So we'll see. But that was one of the things that I don't think you're thinking, right? Like, hey, maybe we're trigger happy. I think it's just the fact that we weren't as efficient and effective from 2-point range that maybe optically made it look like we're trigger happy. So I think we were pretty well balanced. That's my take anyway.
You know who I'm really excited for?
What?
Matthew
Meyer time?
Dude, he surprised me last year. He's actually not bad. And I was there when they were recruiting him. I love telling this story, but I was so I managed 2017 season, I guess. 2016, 2017 season, I was the manager.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought your volume cut out for a second. But I was in the gym, and I remember Scott Drew was like telling the guys, he's like, hey, like, you know, us coaches can only do so much in recruiting. Like, eventually, like, they're coming here and they're playing with you guys. And, like, so like, you, the players, have to, like, recruit this kid. And so they were playing pickup, like, after practice. And, you know, dude, I mean, like, I guess he's tall, but it's like, there's a white kid, like, 6'5". Like, I guess he can dunk, but, like, dude can kind of jump out of the gym. He did, like, pulled out, like, a 360 during, like, warm before, like, the pickup game. And I was just, like, standing there. I was like, and the kid's a stick, too, right? I mean, and it's just, like, it just surprised me. And he had a bad freshman year, right? Yeah, 2018. He had a good year last year. He always wants to shoot. Whenever he gets the ball, he wants to shoot the ball, and that's fine. But I think he's becoming more cautious with his decision making, and he's making smarter decisions. At least he did from, you know, year one to year two. So I'm excited to see. I mean, he's probably still going to come off the bench, but I'm excited to watch him play. Like, he's going to be value added for sure this year.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he averaged 4.8 points and 1.9 rebounds a game last year. And
4.8 points.
More under control. It looked like the year of experience really helped him, you know, slow the game down and everything like that. And then, of course, he had that marvelous baseline dunk against West Virginia that just brought the house down. Right? I mean,
he needs a hair. His hair is so bad.
I think some people might disagree with that. So.
Are you kidding?
I don't know. I don't know. Well, I wanted to run something by you, right? As we look, so we kind of looked at last year, and it's all kind of speculation now. We know Baylor's going to be good, and the question is, can they win a national championship? The NCAA is going to, you know, try to quarantine and create their own little bubble in Indianapolis for the tournament. As of now, all the games are on, but you hear cases pop up with different programs, and some teams have already suspended games. Obviously, we've been seeing that a lot with football. But I want to run something by you, because I think what makes a national championship team, you know, really good isn't the one and dones, isn't you know, catching lightning on bottle and just going on a hot streak for a couple weekends in March. It's about, you know, an experienced team that has good chemistry and good leaders on and off the court that really give teams a leg up especially in college basketball. So with that, and that can do a lot of things on the court. So that said, I think with the four main players that Baylor has coming back, I think each one of them has a different thing that they're the best at on the team. Right, you can obviously say Jared Butler. You can point to Jared Butler and say, hey, he's the All-American. He's the preseason Player of the Year for the Big 12, and he's on the, you know, the watch list for Player of the Year. So, but because of the other complementary pieces around him that can do a lot of things, I think that gives them a really good shot to win it all. So I think Butler is the MVP. He's the straw that stirs the drink, right? Maceo Teague, I would say, is the purest shooter and scorer on the team. Teague, that's Teague. And then Davion Mitchell, I would say, is the defensive stopper, really one-on-one. They call him off night because he holds the other team's best players to their worst performances. And then Mark Vital, I would say, is the energy bunny, doing whatever it takes, taking charges, getting rebounds, throwing home a monster slam, getting a steal, diving on the floor for a loose ball. That really just juices up the team. And those are the four main pieces of Baylor basketball for this year that obviously everybody's gonna, you know, should watch for. And there's a lot of other pieces behind them, but I mean, that's my assessment. What's your thoughts on that? Because that's kind of how I categorize them. And because obviously they can all do it all, but because each one has their individual strengths, it kind of makes the team, I think, that much better.
Yeah, I agree. Those are the four guys. Just because they were the four guys last year, nothing's changed. They're all coming back. Obviously going to be the four guys this year. Vital Swiss Army knife. He can do everything. And he's just like, except for, well, no, can't shoot threes. But he's basically like, yeah, the Energizer Bunny. Okay, good. Mitchell, stud on defense. I don't know how you get by that guy. Yeah. Disagree with you on Teague. Purest scorer is definitely Butler, in my opinion. And like,
what about purest shooter?
Probably Butler.
Okay.
Dude, like if you need a bucket, I'm going with Butler.
Yeah, Butler's a walking.
I'm down one with 15 seconds. I mean, like if you need a bucket, I'm going Jared Butler.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pure scorer. Teague's really good. I'm not saying Teague's bad, and it's like not a bad. It's not even like a bad thing to say that if you think he's a pure shooter, then yeah, it's not he's a good shooter. Mm-hmm. Teague is always kind of, I don't know. I feel like Teague could be a little inconsistent at times, but then again, I'm just going off my memory of Baylor basketball. I mean, I forget all the games from a year ago, but Teague's just like a little bit inconsistent, kind of just like, in my eyes, just like a ball handler, and I don't know. I really think it comes down to guard play, and it's come down to guard play for like last 10 years for college basketball. I mean, if your backcourt's good, you're going to go to the Elite Eight, Final Four.
Yeah.
And it helps so much with their experience, right? They played an entire season of Big 12 basketball. Sucks they didn't get to play a tournament and a Big 12 tournament and an NCAA tournament. That sucks because, I want guys with the spotlight on them, like in the Elite Eight, Final Four. I thought Baylor could have made their first Final Four last year. Like a legitimate chance to make their very first Final Four.
For sure.
But, yeah, definitely experience owns the game. You're talking about, like, streakiness. I'm like, if you hit, like, a hot streak, I mean, Kemba Walker and that UConn team had to win the Big East to even get into the NCAA tournament. Yeah. And boom, they won March Madness. So, and then you think of the Harrison twins in Kentucky, they're like an 8-9 seed, boom, Final Four because the dudes can just play. And so
they were misseeded.
Yeah, experience matters. Streaks matter. Baylor was kind of on a down towards the end of the season, going into the Big 12 tournament. I'll say it. We're not playing our best basketball. No. So you need to be good. I mean, like you need to be in a good rhythm. You need to be all on the same page, clicking on all cylinders, all the sayings you want to say. I mean, you just got to be playing good basketball. And so I think streaks matter, like how you're playing, how you've been playing recently matters. But I'm very excited for the season. Like, very excited for the season. Very excited for Wednesday. Super close. Are you going to get this video out before then?
Yeah. Oh, of course. And I'll get a women's basketball preview up as well.
Yeah, on that one. Sorry, guys.
We're all excited. What games are you most excited for? Do you have their schedule?
Oh, like the Gonzaga game? Yeah, that's number one. Here, let me see. I have their schedule pulled up. Illinois is number 8 in the country.
Yeah.
Good.
They were good last year. Honestly, I don't know too much, but I think they're definitely more properly ranked than maybe Texas and Texas Tech.
Texas is garbage. I really want to beat Gonzaga. I really want to beat Gonzaga. What?
Baylor's never beaten Gonzaga. I'm pretty sure that's true. I don't think we've ever beaten Gonzaga.
When does Baylor play Gonzaga?
What?
Since when does Baylor play Gonzaga?
They've played them a few times. They've played them.
Dude, ever since you were a freshman at college, did not watch a Baylor basketball team play Gonzaga in the regular season.
Oh, well, they definitely did. I think 2014 for sure. I want to say 2011. They were, gosh,
11 year.
I have to go back and look it up, but they've played Gonzaga for sure. Real quick.
If that's even right. But I just really want to be Gonzaga because it's like every year Gonzaga, oh, they're gonna like projected to be in 1 seed, blah blah, and everyone's like, well, they don't play anyone, like they're frauds. So I really want to expose Gonzaga. That'd be sick. Texas. Why are they even ranked in the top 25? I don't know. West Virginia 15, Texas Tech 14. I know Tech was good last year. West Virginia ranked at 15. I don't know. Obviously, Kansas games. Auburn. They might not be having anything to play for. They just like canceled their pro season. But my good buddy. What?
Mitchell transferred from Auburn.
So that's going to be a storyline. But my good buddy graduated from Auburn, and I want to rub it into his face when Baylor just smacks him. Because last year we played an SEC school, and we smacked them in Gainesville. Florida sucks. Obviously, the Kansas games. Duh. Anyone that I did not mention. You know what I'm really looking forward to, Andrew?
What?
Nicholas State coming to Waco, Texas, December 8th.
That's
really pumped for that game. They're a good school.
They, indeed. No comment, but Baylor has lost to games before, to teams like that before. Texas Southern a couple years back. They lost to Washington last year. At least Washington's a Pac-12 school. But they lost to Texas Southern, College of Charleston, Northwestern.
Hey, go Cats. It's good, bro. Stop.
They should not have lost to that Northwestern team back in 2012.
Don Scherner, baby. Dude, that's the ugliest shooting form, but somehow goes in.
So just real quick, Baylor has played Gonzaga before. They lost the 2010-2011 season. They played Gonzaga there in 2010. They lost by 4. And they played Gonzaga again in the 2012-2013 season. They lost by 7. That was at Gonzaga. So that was in 2012. That was the same year that they beat Kentucky at Kentucky, but lost to Northwestern and College of Charleston at home. So
hey.
Go figure. I'm trying to find some other Gonzaga matchups on here.
Did I miss any games, though, for this upcoming year?
I don't think so. I don't think you did.
Arizona State, I guess, because they're ranked, but I know nothing about them.
Arizona State. Yeah,
John. We've owned the Pac for the last 3 years.
Yep, we beat Arizona last year. We lost to Washington. Oregon. Yeah, we beat Oregon.
Good Oregon.
We beat USC in the second round of the tournament a few years back on a Sweet 16 run. I think it was 2017. So
that was my manager year.
I know.
Yeah. Brought that team to a number 1 ranking for first time in school history.
Me. Yeah, I know.
You think all the other men hitting them as hard with the pads around the rim?
I know. Trust me, I know how important that job is. I was on the dream team for all 4 years when I was at Baylor, helping the girls bring home a national title and 4 Big 12 championships. 7 Big championships.
Settle down.
Baylor lost to Gonzaga in the second round of the tournament 2 years ago, of the last NCAA tournament. What are we talking about? Baylor has played Gonzaga many a time.
Regular season, you brought me a 2012 year. That's 8 years ago.
They played
I don't care about
2010, the 2010-2011 season, 2012-13 season, and they played in the 2019 postseason.
Okay, but I don't care about
3. They haven't played them they don't play them every year, but they have played them.
I'm saying, you acted like they played them every year.
No, I did not. That's at least.
You did. I was like,
I'm pretty sure we're 0-6. I'm pretty sure we're 0-6 against Gonzaga
we played Gonzaga 6 times
in our history.
in a basketball program.
What?
Since being like Baylor basketball, we played Gonzaga 6 times.
Yeah.
One was in the postseason.
Yeah.6 most of it pretty, at least that's if it's 6 times, that's half. That's 50% of the time they've played in the past decade. 50% of the matches have happened in the last 8 years.
It's been a while. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you. That's obviously Gonzaga, Villanova, and Kansas are the best matchups that I'm looking forward to this year. And you know what could be the key?
Villanova.
What?
We play Villanova.
Yes. Well, okay. So we could potentially play Villanova
in the tournament.
So we beat Arizona State, and then Villanova has to beat Boston College. So potentially Villanova, but then Gonzaga, Kansas twice, and Kansas, the season finale, which could be for the Big 12 championship, is at
just
Fog Out.
5 days outside. It's in Lawrence.
Yep. But maybe for the Big 12 title, something that the Bears have never done, never won.
We have the best odds to win the NCAA tournament. Yep. We're tied with Villanova, like plus 800. And Kansas is like plus 1,000.
Yeah. I mean, we have really good odds. So the question is, Chris, can Baylor do it?
Yeah.
All right. Simple enough.
Eye on the Baylor Bears, baby. Come on.
Dude, what does this shirt say? We're going to win.
Yeah, we're going to win. Exactly, brother. What does this say, brother? We are going to win. You can kind of see it with the glare.
Yep. Tilt it back towards you.
You see the FaceTime Zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. All right.
There it is. I see it. Yep. You're going to win. I'm really excited. Obviously, we talked about the returners, but I'm really excited for some of these new kids to step up and see the court. Adam Flagler and Jonathan TT. I'll just call him for now until I can get better pronunciation of that. But JTT from UNLV and Adam Flagler from Presbyterian. So Adam should be another really like sharpshooter 3-point guard that Baylor can use, and JTT Jonathan I think prefers to go by John. He's like a 7-foot monster that hopefully can fill in Freddie Gillespie's place quite nicely.
Oh, okay, dude. I see this guy like on the Baylor basketball like Instagram page and stories and stuff that they post. Yeah, I'm excited for him.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust Flo.
Flo Thamba, yeah.
I don't. I really don't. Like, I don't. And maybe he's gotten better, but, like, don't really trust the guy. Let me look up Flagler. Oh, I've also seen this guy. So he looks like Davion Mitchell.
Really?
Dude, yes. Here, unlock. You disabled my screen sharing abilities.
Probably because
I would share my screen if I could.
Probably because I'm recording it.
Dude, I can definitely screen share. Just like go and click disable or enable. Yeah. Basically, I'm pumped. So we'll see on Wednesday.
We'll see. So, apparently Arizona State, the Sun Devils have a really good perimeter guards, and shooting capability. But we'll see. I think Baylor is excited to get on the court, and I think we can match up with the best of anybody. Quick prediction, Christopher, real quick for the season.
Oh, the season?
Yeah.
I knew you were going to ask me this. I'll go conservative. I'll go okay, so I'll go lose to Gonzaga.
Okay.
I'm going conservative. I really want to beat it's not saying I think we're going to lose, but I'm just going to go conservative. Gonzaga, I think we sweep Texas. I think we sweep OU, sweep TCU. All my other non-conference games are wins, by the way.
Okay.
Gonzaga really lost. I think we split Tech.
Okay.
And I think sweep Tech, split West Virginia, split Kansas. So we're going to go 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 losses on the year. And then I'll throw in like a bullshit loss, like one that we shouldn't lose, right? It's like I'll say we go to Manhattan and like lose by 4. So 26-4 again.
Are we playing?
I think that's being conservative.
Yeah. Do we play 30 games again this year? I think it's less than 30 games.
Okay, but 4 losses is my guess.
4 losses.
I picked 4 losses on the schedule.
Yep. I think I'm gonna go split with. I'm gonna go split with West Virginia, Kansas, and Oklahoma State. I think Cade Cunningham, just goes off for the Cowboys. He was the number 1 recruit in the class. He's a freshman, and Oklahoma State's dealing with a bogus, show cause or playoff postseason ban type thing. I think. So I think those teams we split against. I think Oklahoma is closer than we would probably think. I think, and I think Texas is probably closer than we think. But I'll say we still sweep those teams. So a 3-loss conference, and I'm gonna say we drop 2 out of conference. So we finished.
What?
We finished with 5 losses, 3 in the Big 12. We win the Big 12 championship. I say we get knocked off maybe by Kansas in the Big 12 tournament, but we avenge that in the Final Four and then beat Villanova for the national title in the bubble that they'll create in Indianapolis. So I'm saying Baylor's going to win it all. I think there'll be some bumps along the way. I think we saw it with football, right? Is that 2019 football had every bounce go their way, every close game they won. Basketball was the same way last year. They basically won every single close game except down the stretch when they struggled with injuries with Teague's wrist and Vital's hip, and Clark wasn't the same. And they kind of, faltered down the stretch, which I think that in conjunction with the tournaments being canceled, I think that was, maybe a, everything happens for a reason type thing, because I'm not sure if I think they were in line to get upset last year. I think they could have gotten to the Final Four, definitely, but I think they were one of those teams that had everything, all the stars aligned in the wrong way for an upset to be potential. There was vulnerability there. But I think they use that and they win it all this year.
Okay. You think we're going to lose 2 out of 3 non-conference games? We play everyone at home.
There's a lot of neutral site games. These aren't all at home. They're like neutral sites.
I'm on Google.
Yeah, I know.
Baylor is the home team for Arizona State, Illinois, and Gonzaga, but I do realize Arizona State's a tournament.
Yeah, Arizona State's, the first two are tournament games. It's at Seton
Good
Hall.
dog.
And I think Illinois and Gonzaga are both in Indianapolis.
Still gonna dog them. Gonna dog Illinois.
I'm just putting in some buffer. I think, that's
I think
I didn't mock your take.
use one of those names.
Yeah.
Arizona State win. Illinois close, but probably win, dude.
Yeah.
Gotta be confident with the Bears, man. Four of the best players from last year are returning.
I'm very confident. It's a long season. Anything can happen with the mysterious COVID, disease and things being canceled or postponed, or players having to be, held out. Anything could happen. So I think that's why I kind of just put in that little buffer there. Plus, a lot of good teams are playing. I love the schedule that we've organized here. I think it's great. I think more teams should schedule really tough and schedule good games. I think it's better for them. I think it's better for the fans. I think everybody wins. And I think Baylor wins the national championship. So, Chris, will you we're going to do this weekly, right? To, kind of follow the Bears along weekly and follow their games and offer some insight.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Chris, where can the people find you on social media, things like that?
Followers, huh? Okay. I don't really have a Twitter, but Instagram, I guess.
Yeah. Wherever you want them to follow you.
Wherever they want. Yeah. At money_minor35. Money Minor was a nickname given to me by Mr. Stupp, my friend's dad. Some lights out.
It's good. So follow Chris on Instagram. Get a lot of good insight to some of the Baylor going-ons, and some great golf courses that Christopher plays with his friends. So, Christopher, thanks for joining. And you know what? Sick 'em Bears. We are going to win. Sick 'em Bears.
Sick 'em Bears. I'm pumped. Baylor students, Baylor alumni, Baylor fans should be just pumped for this year, and just what Baylor basketball is doing in general, Scott Drew doing in general, landing some big recruits for the future. So, dude, I'm excited. Get my mind off football. I like Dave Aranda. I like all what they're doing. Tough year, had some tough breaks, but just get my mind off football, because my happiness is directly correlated with Baylor athletics. And I think, Andrew, it's the same. His happiness is probably directly correlated with Baylor athletics. So let's get the basketball season rolling. Let's get some big-time wins. And sick 'em Bears, man. I'm pumped.
Sick 'em Bears. Thanks so much, Chris.
Yeah. Yep.